I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This hopefully will be the first of many in a wine and food event series that we're going to put together here for Avenue Live. So, I wrote a bunch of notes and had a big presentation put together for this, but the more I thought about it, I felt like it was best to just kind of talk about the process we went through in pulling these pairings together. So, these events are really some of the most enjoyable things that we do in the wine business, and I haven't done one of these in a while. And when I got the call to come help out with this one, I was really appreciative. So we sat down the day after Mardi Gras, Dave and I and a couple of guys that work at the local branch here, and everybody was a little bit foggy-headed, but nonetheless, we sat down and we started talking through the concept for tonight. And Dave really wanted to showcase some new wines that are going to roll out on the menu for both Luna and Luna Live moving forward, and work on some kind of creative off-the-menu dishes that he wanted to prepare. So together, we the three of us, Dave, myself, Jared Woodhouse, who's over here, sat down and started talking about things. And the first thing we wanted to do was something a little different with appetizers. Normally, the progression in a wine dinner is you always lead with a white wine and something light, and then you kind of easily progress towards a bolder wine and food and bolder dish at an entree, and then head right into the dessert. So, and this was Dave's concept: do something where we have two appetizers and a red and a white wine served all together in an appetizer course, which is not anything I've ever done, not anything I've ever really seen done, but nonetheless, we wanted to give it a try. So we went with a couple of dishes that are very different. Salmon pate and bacon wrapped dates with goat cheese, not similar, but they are similar in a different way. They have pretty bold, intense flavors, some fat, a little sweetness on the dates, and they're rich. And for the wines, we went with a white blend and a red blend. Blends in general have been a very hot category in the wine industry for several years now. And the reason is blends satisfy a broad flavor profile. Almost, you can get a red blend or a white blend for a party, a social gathering, and you can satisfy just about any customer with that wine. And so we felt like it was a good idea to go ahead and bring in a red wine blend, a white wine blend, and two appetizers that kind of match up in intensity and flavor profile. So the red blend is Saved Red Blend, which is a collaborative project between Clay Brock, who's been a winemaker at Estancia. He's currently a winemaker at Wild Horse Vineyards, and he somehow got together with a guy by the name of Scott Campbell, who's a tattoo artist in New York City, originally from Thibodaux, Louisiana, and they came up with a concept for saved wines. So Scott did the label on the bottle, which if anybody got a chance to see it, is a really cool looking label, very different, and that's kind of his artwork. And they wanted the wines to be bold, intense, and use some mainstream varietals as well as some stuff that you don't see. So there's 9 different grapes in that wine, 4 of them everybody pretty much recognizes: Merlot, Syrah, Zinfandel, and I think Cab is the other one. And then there are 5 that some of them I don't even recognize. So it's just something different. It's relatively new, and we wanted to put that in front of you. The white blend is called Equilibrium. It's made by Franciscan. Franciscan has been a staple in the Napa Valley for 35 years. Their winery is located within a stone's throw of wineries like Opus One. Robert Mondavi is almost across the street. I've been to both of them on the same trip, but that, like Wednesday morning, was a little bit of a blur. So I can't quite remember. But a great winery with a lot of history nonetheless. appetizer dishes. We felt the next move would be to go with something that would kind of cleanse the palate. So we've got a classic citrus vinaigrette salad over baby spinach, and salads can be very tricky to pair. Salads are with a citrus vinaigrette dressing, high in acidity. Wine doesn't always get along with highly acidic dishes. But when you choose a wine that also naturally has some acidity to it and crisp, bright flavors, then the pairing can work. So we've got a Sauvignon Blanc, Justin Sauvignon Blanc. They're located in Paso Robles, which is more central California. It's a little warmer there, and Bordeaux varietals do well in this area of California. Napa Valley is also warm. They do a good job with Bordeaux varietals. So most people think Bordeaux, they think red wine, naturally, but Sauvignon Blanc is also born in Bordeaux. So Justin Vineyards focuses pretty much exclusively on Bordeaux-style wines, and this is one of theirs. So after the salad course, we had actually talked about entrees for a little while, and realized that we didn't talk at all about Chardonnay. Chardonnay is the most consumed wine varietal, period, nationwide in the state of Louisiana, most popular by far. So we felt that it's only right to include a Chardonnay here, and started talking about how we were going to do that. So Dave had an idea for soup, cream-based soup, and kicked around ideas. The word bisque always comes to mind when you think cream-based soup, but you can find bisque on menus, pretty regularly. We wanted to do something a little bit different. A little light bulb went off in his head, and he said, "How about crab and brie soup?" Perfect. Let's do that. So tonight we have crab and brie soup. Just pair with Coppola Botra Sante Chardonnay. This is a pet project from Francis Ford Coppola. It pays some homage to his grandmother, that was her toast, the Botra Sante, which is, what else? To a healthy life. Nice dish. But I think that would something along those lines. She's an Italian immigrant. From there, we'll move into the entree, which the focus of the entree was Row 11 Pinot Noir. This is a great small production Pinot Noir. The company is relatively new. They've been around since 2004. It's got a really long story that was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, so I'm going to give you the short version. But basically, this guy was a winemaker in South America for years in the 80s and 90s. Threw his hands up, said he wasn't making wine anymore, went to California, and became a broker of sorts, the middleman between wineries, winemakers, and grape growers. So he had a lot of contacts on both ends, and in the early 2000s decided that he wanted to get back into winemaking. So the concept was, I have all these connections, I know all these great grape growers, I'm going to pick what I want. And they settled on a vineyard in the Russian River Valley of Sonoma County and picked row number 11 in that vineyard for the first wine run. So the name of the winery and this company is now Row 11, paying tribute to that first vineyard. It is small production, it's really hard to find, but it's really good. They're 100% Pinot Noir, they're very meticulous in the winemaking techniques, and Dave loved it, we love it, and that's what we wanted to focus the entree on. So Pinot Noir is kind of finicky when it comes to entrees. Everything steak, some kind of big sauce, red wine reduction, this, that, and the other. Well, Pinot Noir doesn't necessarily fit into those molds. You have to match intensity of flavor to the intensity of the wine. So we kicked around a bunch of ideas and finally came up with a duck breast entree. Duck is great because it eats somewhat like a red meat. It doesn't eat like chicken or other poultry products. It's got some good flavor from the natural fat, but it's not so intense that it's going to overrun the wine. So that's how we came to the duck breast entree, paired with the Pinot Noir or Verdetta Polenta. Again, wanted to do something a little bit different. And it's going to be topped with a crawfish sauce. From there, the dessert will be mascarpone crepe, strawberry mascarpone crepe. with a little bit of lemon juice to give it some acidity, and that's paired with an Italian Moscato. This is a very traditional dessert pairing for European culture. The dessert itself has a very good balance of sugar, fat, and a little bit of acidity, and the wine is very similar. Italian Moscatos are more complex than the bulk Moscatos that you see out on the market, the Barefoots of the world. Italian Moscatos have a little bit of acidity. They have a better flavor structure. They're a little bit, what we say, the technical term is frizzante, slightly bubbly, not full champagne bubbles, but just enough to kind of give it a little extra layer. And so these are great dessert wines, and it's paired with a classic great dessert. So that took what sounds like took about half an hour, took about 2. But it was fun, and we had a good time piecing this together, and happy to be here, and hope you guys enjoy everything. So that said, salads are coming out. Looks like the setting up on board. Please have a good time, and we'll bring the band back up. If you have any questions, just ask your server or somebody, and one of us can come on and talk to you. So, thanks.